My friend Nicole C. Mullen says, our skin may describe us, but it doesn't define us. And so I've tried to live in that place where, I can't get overburdened with other people's ignorance. God's made me a pretty intelligent person. And when I see the hate, I just my heart goes out. I feel sorry because I'm thinking you're missing out on such a huge blessing because if you really got to know me, but it's made me love hard and forgive to a place where some people may never have to forgive like this in their lifetime.
Hello, everybody. This is Tim Timmons with another 10,000 minute podcast.
I was going to do it and then I didn't.
What?
No.
I've never done. I don't think I've ever opened one like that.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, something new, just for you guys.
It felt new. You know what it did?
Fresh.
It felt fresh. Mm-hmm. So I was in Costa Rica with Bob.
No. That was last time.
Okay. Did we already say our names? I did. I nailed mine.
Oh, nice.
Hey, guys, I'm Chris.
And I'm Moy. Hi, everybody.
And we are the
Three Amigos.
Gosh, that's all I think. But what about Voltron? I was thinking about
what?
Like Thundercats activate.
Are we sponsored? That was the weirdest transition into that one
What
plug.
about Velveeta cheese?
Yeah. Why can't we be the three
Your
Velveetas?
entire family.
Speaking of Velveeta cheese, do you like Kraft? Do you like Kraft? Some people love those things. Kraft American slices.
I'm not into the slices. What we used to do is we'd take Rotel, like the hot Rotel, in the melted Velveeta, make a little dip.
Yeah, that's delicious.
You know.
Nutritious.
Yeah.
Would you ever put an American slice on your sandwich?
I don't think so. I don't think I've had
Did
a
you do that?
Kraft slice
Like, was
in
that a Latino thing at all?
decades.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like,
No.
so when I was growing up, my parents, they would always buy like the Always Save. Do you guys know this brand?
No.
Okay. Well, whatever, like shopping center that we had, Walmart or whatever, they had their own brand. So, like,
was
think
Always?
Great Value or like
Oh,
whatever.
gotcha, yeah.
But it was Always Save, and I don't know what it was, but it was like, it wouldn't be Velveeta, it'd be like Belvito or something. You know what I mean? Or like,
Belvita.
not Doritos, but like, Doritos.
Yeah. Spicy chips.
Yeah. Cheese chips or something. So I wouldn't know anyway. Like, we probably had some slices, but they were just like,
it wasn't even American.
yellow cheese is what it would say. You know,
Please, it did
single
not-
slice.
Yeah.
So who knows?
That's good because you're poor,
We were poor.
right? So
I mean, I don't know that we were poor.
you
but-
they were thrifty.
We were thrifty. Yeah, we were thrifty.
It's just what you did.
Yeah, it's just what we did. So I buy name brand cheese now. No big
You
deal.
totally do. So now have you gone the opposite way? I mean, like with snacks, like the little things that you used to be addicted to. Do you go like high end?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the name brand.
Yeah.
Like, we could never have toaster strudels, and I always wanted one.
Como said, what is that?
A toaster strudel?
Yeah.
You put your own icing on.
Yeah.
And I always thought, man, if I have money one day, I'm going to buy toaster strudels. I don't eat them now, but...
Yeah.
This is the snack for the creatives. Yeah. There's some freedom
It's
to
like
this snack.
fajitas or something. You got to make your own. Why do they cost more? It doesn't make any sense.
Fajitas?
Well, you got to put them together, you know? It's like they should come assembled.
Man.
I don't know toasted strudels.
Well,
Oh,
must have been a Midwest thing.
it's like a Pop-Tart.
It's like a Pop-Tart without the icing on top, and then you put the icing on.
But it was always like too thick, so it was never really
sure it
like an
wasn't
image.
great.
It just kind
I
of...
just saw the commercials and I
looked like a
thought
Pop-Tart.
that looks good.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Carol didn't let us have, we didn't have white bread or
We never had white bread.
any of that kind of stuff. It was like health. Mm-hmm. There was a place called Whipple's.
Okay.
Yep.
Whipples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like that was awkward. As
No,
I
I'm
just said
going
that.
with you. It feels like a 50s.
Yeah, it was WHIPPLES.
Yeah.
Whipple's. Sorry, that just hit me funny at the moment.
So I just feel like I have to fact
Whipples.
check this
No.
place.
It's good. We could talk to Carol next time she's on. It might be an
Yeah.
awkward conversation.
Carol, will you tell me about Whipples?
Yes, thank you for the H.
Yeah. McGehee, please.
Yeah, Whipple's. They actually had like a little thing where you could get like it was, you know what it was, because I was born in 1814, but it was,
Good year.
it was what's that called? Froyo, before Froyo was a thing. They were like, it's yogurt, but cold. In Whipple's, you could go there because other places you could get ice cream, but Carol would not have us get ice cream. So we could get Whipple's cold yogurt.
Yep.
Anywho, speaking of...
This is great.
Sweet.
Speaking of Froyo.
I
don't know.
We have a wonderful guest, another woman that I did not know before this.
Heard of her.
Say again?
But heard of her. Right.
Because she's an artist, a singer-songwriter, author, speaker, television host, and dancer.
All the things. She's amazing.
I don't know if she dances.
I don't know. I bet
She did. She talks about dancing, remember?
Yeah. Okay. Guys, you're going to hear a lot about this. So this is Lynda Randle. Lynda, and is Tate in the beginning of that? Lynda Tate Randle?
I don't know.
Lynda Randle. She is Michael Tate's brother, who is a lead singer of a band.
She's Michael Tate's sister.
Right.
Gosh.
Michael Tate is her brother. You're doing great.
I wonder if she had Velveeta. That was my question. Or if he had Velveeta. No, I got nothing.
Okay. We can do this again.
Tried hard.
Today we have Lynda. We're so excited.
Yes. Anyways, today we have Lynda. We're so excited. You're going to love this conversation, and it's about diversifying your table.
Yeah.
So this is a very important conversation.
Velveeta on the table.
You know,
that was the transition. That was it. Found it.
And what's on your always fresh and what was it? Always safety? Always saving? Always cheap?
At least saving.
No. What was it? What was it called?
Always save.
Always save?
Is that what I said? I don't remember, guys. This intro's taken 7 minutes.
Yes.
Maybe you just lied to make friends.
I didn't. I have.
We're gonna talk about lying to make friends and who belongs at your table. So enjoy this episode with Lynda Randle. Hey everybody, welcome to another 10,000 Minute Podcast. My name is Timothy Howard Timmons, or Tim Timmons. We've got Chris Cleveland.
That's right, yeah.
Hot Chris. And then Moy's over here to my right. I'm Moy Donise.
Hello.
And then we've got producer George in the room right now, too. He's not going to say hi because he doesn't have a microphone.
Well, yeah.
But he's there, we promise.
But he's here, and his heart's in it. Like anything. Okay, and we have a special guest today.
Yes,
I guess every guest seems special.
This one feels a little more special.
I mean, if you just look at her hair.
They're both special.
I mean, that's me coming from a guy with no hair, Lynda. Let's be real honest. Everybody, we've got Lynda Randle on here.
Hey guys.
So, Lynda, I'm just going to say it now, but your spelling of your name, all of your names are pretty awesome. Like you've got some like hidden gems in there.
Yes.
Because it's Lynda.
Yes, GAIT. RANDLE, and nobody ever gets it all right, but it's okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying you're making it hard for everybody, but you're making people work for it because it's like, who needs an I? Eyes are so dumb. Like I hate the I in my name, Tim. It should be TY.
We're gonna go TY from now on.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes, you can go, why have an I?
And then at the end, the E at the end of Randall, everybody. So if you didn't know that was there, put it there because the A should not be Randall.
I get Randall, Randall.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's Randall, like candle, but with an R,
Gosh, doesn't that kind of suck that you've had to say that for how many years have you had to say that?
A long time. I've been married to my husband going on 33 years, so at least that long.
Okay, because Moy just a second ago, you were asking about Moy's name, and she's like, it's Moy, it sounds like joy, but you say, you've got the whole...
You have to explain it.
I'm just saying, that makes me sad.
It's like a band name. Like I have to tell people so many times what my band name means, which is nothing. Yeah. And then you got to come up with the story, and it's a whole thing. It's like, can we just skip this, please?
Yes.
And not do what we're doing right now and talking about it for 10 minutes?
I don't mind it too much.
You don't?
Then I feel like people who are really trying, you can see it because they're trying to remember your actual name. I'm like, you're being intentional. I like that.
Yes, absolutely. But you like, can we move on, right? You just explain.
Yeah, make it quick.
You should see how many people get stumped when I go like, after they try to spell Randall, I go, it's like candle, but with an R, and they go, oh, okay. I mean, like candle, but so and it gets, it's just too complicated. Like really just spell it however you want. But anyways, I'm glad to be here with you guys.
We're glad to have you on. So Lynda is a singer-songwriter, which you're in great company. So we can all let's just write we should be writing a song right now.
Let's go.
This is a 4-way co-write. Sorry, George, producer, you're out of this one. And you're also an author, speaker, television personality, all the things. You do everything.
Not
what
everything,
don't you do? I guess
I do a few things.
What don't you do? Like, this is actually a real question. Like, what are you not good at?
Well, let me think. And I'm not saying anything like this pride. Let me think. I'm good at so many things.
Totally. That's like
goodness.
No, but let me just say this. Put it at ease. Put you at ease, because one of my friends goes, Lynda, it's like you look good in every color. Is there not a? I said, no. Let me just say this. The colors I don't look good in, I don't wear.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It seems like I do everything because I try to do what I do well, the things I do. But there's some things I don't do. I don't ride motorcycles.
Like, because you haven't tried? Like, or what?
No, because I'm scared.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. But
I like that though. It's like, I might not be good at that, so I'm just not going to do it. Yeah.
And I don't bungee jump or mountain climb or snow ski, but
feel you. Yeah.
But that's out of fear.
Yeah, probably. But some of it's probably common sense too. I don't know.
I'm just feeling like you could probably do those things, because you also said you could say I was scared to write a book, but you've written a book.
There you go.
I mean, Lynda, I don't want to get too deep into this thing, but I feel like this is more for you than it is for us. And if you might need to, pay us for a counseling session, just let us know.
You're taking me in. I've been wanting to go to this place for a long time, so this is good. I need to seriously, guys. I'm not just saying, I really need to laugh today. I'm not one of those people that it's like, oh, it's been so hard. Everybody's going through stuff. But it's been like next level stuff for, me. I know that what we're doing even this year and some of the things we're involved in music and ministry and trying to bring folks together. I mean, that no devil is fighting like hell. And it's been crazy. Yeah. So I need the laugh today. I need that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should do our dance.
You know what? That would probably take it to another level.
Yeah. Well, laughing and embarrassment are two really different things. So maybe we just try to
hand in hand.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. And what you don't know, Lynda, just so we can, and this isn't even funny, but Moy over here.
Oh goodness.
The way she works out is, some people like Chris, he gets on the elliptical. I just stare at myself. And Moy, she dances.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, but that sounds like a flex, but I don't like, it's not like, I'm not doing flips in my home, but I learned that dancing helps stuck trauma move through. And I've had a lot of trauma in my life. And so I've been dancing a lot lately to help me feel unstuck. But I'm not like, jazz hands or doing like the moonwalk in my living room.
That's right. No, that's really good, Moy, because I do that as well. I incorporate that in some of my exercise, and I've made it my own kind of yoga dance moves, which that's pretty funny to watch, but also just dancing and moving. And the house was empty the other day, and I was so happy. And I just, and typically in the chocolate black church, we physically shout and we physically dance, praise. So I kind of had a praise dance thing going around here myself, because I'm like just trying to shake it off. And when you got, like you said, when you got trauma and things going on in your life, a good dance, it's good for the soul. It's good for the soul.
It is.
There has to be something. I mean, now I grew up in the whitest Baptist church in Oklahoma that you can, and like people didn't you barely clap, let alone raise their hands. You know what I mean? But you can see like the pent up aggression, underneath the surface. So maybe if we got out and danced and
just let loose a
little bit, it would have been a little better.
It's freeing. It is. Yes, it is so freeing. You just got to try it. You got to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that your house is empty, so or was empty for a rare moment. Who is in your house?
So my daughter, she's not here like right now. She just flew to Atlanta this morning because her first cousin, my niece, is getting married this weekend. I don't know when this is going to air, but anyway, so the weekend of April, something, whatever. And then my husband is here, and our oldest daughter lives in Oregon now, who just recently got married. And so yeah, and we just actually, guys, we just moved out of our home after 16 years having it built and designed for us, the whole 9 yards, but we are right sizing. So we're in this interim space, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's nice, it's beautiful, but it's a little close quarters when we used to having so much space. But I'm grateful that at least we have shelter, and it's pretty nice. It really is. Yeah. It's just kind of me chilling today. And we took our little Yorkie out. He's about 15 years plus old, but he has this hacking cough that's really bad, and we're getting something for him. He could mess up the whole interview today. So my assistant is out with him walking. Oh my God.
That's a good assistant.
Yeah, it's a good as well.
We've got a couple dogs that she could come grab from us if she wants.
Do you need a few more dogs? Because Chris and I are literally on almost every podcast, we're trying to give up our dogs. So
this will be fine.
Yeah, they'd be great therapy dogs for your dog.
Yeah, if you're feeling like empty nested or something like that.
Yeah,
it's so funny. Right. No, if you would hear our dog cough, you would probably call Dog Protective Services on them. Totally. It's so bad, and it's like there's nothing that we can do. I mean, we're trying to get some kind of cough medicine type thing, and I do all natural herbal stuff and everything, and thank God I haven't had to be on any medications, and I'm grateful for that. So we're looking at maybe something natural for him, and because my daughter who's really the dog's mama, I'm the grandmama, and so she don't want to get him on drugs any sooner than she has to. So
I don't want to say this too loud, but I know Chris is probably going to say this, and what he generally recommends is chocolate. And I'm going to say, don't do it. Don't take Chris's advice.
You cannot. No, that's a death sentence.
No. I was trying to think Child Protective Services.
Oh boy.
PPS.
Puppy Protective Services. Yeah,
Puppy Protective Services.
You guys, y'all are funny. Y'all having too much fun.
Well, that's our whole deal, and this is just let's figure out how to have fun and talk about things that matter as well.
This is really good.
So. At the end, we do these 10,000 questions or thoughts at the end. I kind of want to do it now just to keep you laughing a little bit, because you said you needed a little bit of love. But we'll just do one right now. Okay. So what is a pet peeve? Go right now. Lynda Randle with a Y and an E. What's a pet peeve?
Oh, my land. I just don't care to see people not do things well. And I'm not talking about perfection. I'm just saying if we're supposed to be people of excellence, and I just like to see things done in an excellent way. If it's something you're just starting at, I know, but if you are a professional at what you do, it's not like even when I sing, I'm not going to always hit the right notes. Yeah. Your voice is going to crack or break sometime or whatever, but I'm not saying, but I literally, guys, even to this day, been singing for so many years. I actually vocalize my voice prior to concerts, days prior to build those vocal muscles and strength. And because I want to be able to just be my absolute best. So I really don't halfway do a lot. And my husband said to me, it wasn't long ago, we were somewhere and I had, I tell people I have a let's make a deal purse. That means I've got everything in that purse that they will probably call a let's make a deal. So he asked for something and I had him. He said, babe, you are always prepared. And I go, no. I said, I don't like the feeling of not being prepared.
Yes.
So it's kind of an oxymoron. But anyways, so yeah, I just like, I like to see people do things well. When I get a nice dinner or lunch, you go to, I just like things to be done well.
Ooh, just for fun, Lynda, because we're in a counseling session. So if you do something and you don't do it well or you were not prepared, who are you? So are there people in your life that have been that and you're like, you don't have to name them out, but like, what do you see yourself as if you are unprepared?
And what do I see myself as?
Yeah. Again, this is Lynda counseling.
This is, oh wow, I'm on the counseling seat. This is pretty cool.
Come on.
Let me think about that. No, I just know that I'm better than that. And I was not made a mediocre human being. I was made to soar. And I'm not trying to like super spiritualize things, but I mean, really, even times when I know I'm not doing everything well, of course, because I'm far from perfect, but I just know I would feel less than the person I was created to be. And that's the honest to God truth. When I settle, I know that there's more, and I don't want to settle. And sure, there are days that I don't always do, everything. I'm learning now that, you can't do everything in a day. And just the other day, I told my assistant, I was feeling this angst and this push and pull. And for a moment, I just kind of settled into that feeling. And I said, well, why do you think you're feeling that push and pull? And I felt like for me as a child of God, it was literally like, okay, I was leaning toward maybe having a little bit more fun or doing some work. And the minute I thought about having more fun, I was pretty free. And so now I'm kind of learning when I feel that struggle, that whole thing of performing and getting things done or not. And sometimes it's like, it's okay to just be absolutely like whatever. You don't have to do anything. And so that's kind of the space I'm in now. And it's feeling pretty good. So when I don't do things in an excellent manner, one, I just know that I'm not mediocre and I feel like I'm settling and I can do better, but I'm not beating myself up about it like I would have in the past.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to talk to you about your color of your shirt today. We didn't feel like it really is the right color for you today, but I feel like you're
cool.
No, I'm totally kidding. What Carol, my mom, she always says, "Oh, Timothy," she says, "Timothy, that color sings on you.
Oh.
That color sings." So, Lynda, that color sings on you. Let's be real.
My blue today, feeling.
Yeah. Okay, so Lynda, you do all the things, literally, except for ride motorcycles, just because you haven't yet, and you'd probably nail it. So Pilgrim Journey is a collection of spirituals and inspirational classics. Why these songs? And this isn't like everybody go check out these songs and check this stuff out. But like, what's the bigger story in this? Because I don't really care about more Christian music, to be real honest.
Yes.
But like, why? Like, what's the bigger narrative on this? Like, why is this important?
Well, the bigger story for me is just going back to my roots after having been in a predominantly white Southern gospel community, even though I tell people, and I don't mean this any disrespect to the Southern gospel singer, artist, friends, family. I don't like to be introduced as a Southern gospel singer because I'm a gospel singer. I'm a singer. I'm not a Southern gospel singer. I happen to have been given the most amazing song that I've ever sung in that genre, God on the Mountain, which I literally almost turned down that song when Bill Gaither gave it to me many years ago. And sadly, the writer of that song just passed a few days ago. That song, 54 plus million views. That song has resonated with people literally all around the world. It's amazing. And so that kind of put me in this community of people and music for the past 20, 30, whatever years. And it's been great. It's been wonderful. But there are a lot of things that I learned also in this community. And I feel like my assignment, even before I got there, I was in, I got put in a Christian school after failing the 9th grade with 32 Fs like flags. 32.
Come on.
Growing up in the city, DC, and not blaming it on the city because there are great things that come out of the city, unlike some people think and are afraid of the inner cities. But I grew up there and got put in this Christian school, and then music just started in my life, and a predominantly all white choir, the only chocolate black kid in the choir. They kept giving me these spirituals to sing, and one thing led to another. Then you go to a school like Liberty University, which at the time was a lot of people of color. And my world just opened up on another whole level. And I got kind of snatched up into this white community, this white world I didn't know really much about other than when I seen white folks on television. I thought you guys were all rich and smart. And I have a lot of white friends now, and I know that's not true.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that for one moment. But then I thought, man, I sure do, because when we would see us on TV, the images weren't so beautiful.
Right.
You know, the pimp, the
so true. Gosh.
And the gangbangers and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to be that. You know, I'm taking the long way around. But all that being said, so I've been in this whole kind of white world doing this thing, and in the churches, in the homes, and the schools, and the communities. And during the pandemic, guys, oh my word, when I saw all hell break loose again and again and again, and after George Floyd, I go, okay, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm coming out. I'm coming out.
You're over what? What were you
over? Yes, I love people, and I haven't had a lot of verbiage as I was in those communities about, you know, I would say things from stage, you know, getting along, this, that, the other, but I hadn't really told my story. I hadn't really told people, share, really, guys, there's a lot we can talk about. There's a monster in the closet that some white folks just don't want to even talk about. There are no issues. What do we have to talk about? People want to talk about cancel culture, this, that, and I'm like, that's not even where I'm going. I'm thinking we, as especially God's kids, I'm like, we got a lot to talk about. There are a lot of things that people are missing. And so during the pandemic, when I saw all the riots and all of the unrest and everything just came to a head, and how people, I don't care whether it was Biden, Obama, Trump, trauma, whatever it was, let a politician get people on this side or that side, and folks who used to love each other, hate each other. I said, I'm over it. And I said, God, please, is it my time to say something? Is it my time? And so I felt like he said, I have some projects for you to do. I called my friend Cindy Morgan. We started writing songs. We started on this pilgrim journey. We didn't even know, guys. We didn't even know what it looked like. I just knew that I had cried long enough, and I was tired. I was worn out. During the Capitol thing on January 6th, I wept like a baby. That's where I used to go swim in the fountain at the Capitol as a kid. Right there. That's where I grew up. And it grieved me to no end to see all of this crazy. And I'm thinking, you guys, this is a piece of skin. It's a piece of flesh. What's the big deal? I mean, can we just, so this is something, and this is not even to sell anything, but look at this, guys. Come on. This little shirt here, when I would go to my white friends, and I would say, so you don't think there's something to talk about? And I said, what's it say on it? My babies wore this Band-Aid. It says time to heal.
Time to heal.
And on the back,
shirt with Band-Aids on it, like a white Band-Aid and a black Band-Aid on there. It says time to heal. I love that.
And I tell my babies, I said, my babies wore this Band-Aid on their little chocolate skin their whole entire life. Yeah. And just recently, this Band-Aid came out. And I said to people, I go, you know what? And there's one with the cross. But I tell them, I say, hey, here's the thing. If you think there's nothing to talk about, they're like, oh, my lands. I never even knew that. I said, well, look, I can tell you a lot more things that you never knew. So it's again, the kid goes, there's a monster in the closet. There's no problem. So now when I'm able to share that with my friends, and they'll go wow, Lynda, can you tell me some of your stories? And now I'm actually telling people, and this is not, I don't believe in the whole white guilt thing. I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there. But to be able to sympathize and empathize, and we went out with one of our white couple friends just a couple weeks ago, and we just shared at dinner some of our stories. And I'll just share just one with you really quick. This happens every single day of our lives, and it's something that I know I'll live with until the day Jesus returns. But it's okay, because I feel like I have a special gift in communicating with people and loving people. Somebody asked me in an interview, they go, well, why aren't you cynical and why aren't you bitter? And then, because it didn't help. But we had our tour bus that was parked in front of our home. This was a few years back. And the driver we had at the time was white. His name is Randy. And if I ever use white or black to describe a person in a story, it has to be related to the story. Please don't come up to me and just go, I have a friend. And I'm like, oh, is your friend black? Oh yeah, I know they're gonna say, because people just trying to relate. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it. If a kid comes to your door and they're selling Girl Scout cookies, please don't say a black girl came to my door or a white girl. Right. It doesn't change anything.
It's perpetuating.
Yes. So this, I'm looking out of our pantry window at the time, and I see Mike and Randy are cleaning the bus. My husband's Mike. And so my husband's in the front of the bus by the door, and he's cleaning the bus. And then Randy's about maybe 4 feet behind Michael, and he's cleaning that part of the bus. I see a pickup truck come into in our driveway, up on our driveway, and a white guy gets out, and I go, uh-oh. I said, I know what's about to happen, because it's a predominantly white neighborhood of a large home. And of course, we wouldn't live in anything like that, because we just wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
how many black couples and families are in your neighborhood?
Oh, we were, other than one other family, we were it. And the neighborhood that was developed about 16 years ago, when we first moved in, there were only 4 houses from there, and now there are a ton of homes there. And that's another whole story, because we were there before people even got there, really. So this guy pulls up, excuse me, he says, excuse me, this is what he bypassed my husband, who was in the front of the bus. And he went to Randy, and he said, and this is what I hear, because I couldn't hear him from the window because it was closed, but this is what I was told. He said, he went to Randy, and he said, excuse me, do you mind if I park my truck in your driveway while I do some work on the house next door? And Randy said to this guy, well, you'll have to talk to the owner of the home. That happens, guys. When I tell you, depending on where I go in a given day, it's every single day. You have to either not apologize for being black, because I am so happy God made me who I am. I'm so happy He made you who you are and all that. But you almost have to just kind of like, you go in and you're not expecting, I go in the store and somebody's looking at me kind of weird. I don't want to go, okay, they're white, I'm black, they're looking at me and they're racist. No, I try not to think that. Try not to. But I've been in too many stores where, depending on the store, like especially if it's a higher end store and you come in, and if you're not dressed a certain way, can she afford it? Because you know what happened to Oprah years ago? I think it was Nordstrom's. I'm like, she could buy Nordstrom's, Right. But it's that thing that you almost have to prove that you have worth and you have value, and you're completely worn out. And so it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. And I'm not even saying that complaining, but the reality is that's just one of so many stories that I'm not even trying to bore y'all. I could tell you something that just would rock your world. I mean, I'll give you another example. A guy comes to my table. I'm at the Quartet convention, 12,000 people. It's just me. And I invited a little family of kids of color from Canada. And so I'm on the set and I get done. This guy came to my table and he said, boy, I tell you what, and I'm just telling you this how you talk. Yeah. I tell you what, he said, the first time I saw you on that gate video, I said, what's she doing on there? I looked at that hair and I go, what's she doing on there? He said, but boy, when you open your mouth to sing, I tell you, bless me. Now when you come on, I tell my wife, my girl's on. I hear that, guys.
Yeah, right. All the time.
Yeah. Oh my word. I have to laugh to not cry.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
It is like, oh my lands.
Are there people in your life? Thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
Are there people, and I'm sure there are millions of other ones, and even, your brother, Michael Tate, just shared a story just on the Jesus music movie.
Yes.
That was just that one little story that he shared about being in a restaurant, even just recently, down in the South. And anyways, but are there any, how did that shape you? Like into who you are today, when you're kind of looking at all the narratives that have happened, and I'm sure you have, I've got so many questions for you right now, but how did all that stuff shape you into who you are today and what you're actually trying to invite people into today?
My parents taught us to love people, didn't matter where they came from. He said, God made us all, and that's a fact. And my friend Nicole C. Mullen says, our skin may describe us, but it doesn't define us. And so I've tried to live in that place where, I I can't get overburdened with other people's ignorance. God's made me a pretty intelligent person. And when I see the hate, I just, my heart goes out. I feel sorry because I'm thinking you're missing out on such a huge blessing. Because if you really got to know me, but it's made me love hard and forgive to a place where some people may never have to forgive like this in their lifetime. And I'm not trying to be the, like this, like I said, this super saint, but it really has. And when I was called the N-word sitting in my friend's car from college years ago, we were singing at Liberty and we had an event on the weekend in Winston-Salem and something happened with our hotel situation. And he said, hey, it was he and I and another girl. So both of them are white. And so we're sitting in the drive. He said, we can stay at my grandma's house. Pulls up to the drive. And the grandma looked in the car and said, get that in out of my yard.
Oh my God.
And tears just streamed down my face because I thought, man, like, oh my. And so shaping me, it's just those things like that. This is, okay, I can take it. You've heard it, bitter or better. I want to be better. And I always feel like if I'm the first Black person that some people will ever kind of cozy up to or get to meet, I want to represent well. Sadly, when one Black person blows it, so to speak, it's like it blankets all of us. Like if somebody, but I never hear that in white communities, If I'm supposed to be like, yeah, man, I tell you what, they all alike. I tell you, you can't, that kind of stuff. But it's really helped me to understand a lot more, people's thought processes. A lot of people is just kind of how they were raised, and some of them have never had anybody have real conversations. Now, what I'm encouraging people to do is I want people to come to the table, sit down and talk and have the hard conversations. I want you to tell me how you feel. And if you feel like I'm a threat as a Black woman, and why do you feel that way? What makes you feel that way? If I feel intimidated by you as a white person, why do I feel that way? Let's talk about those hard things.
If you were to say, hey, let's have a conversation, what would that conversation look like? Because with 10,000 minutes, we're always trying to figure out how do we practically live all week long. And you're an expert in this because you've lived 23 years. That's how old you are. You've lived for 23 years with this, but you've lived in this. So, but we're saying in some ways, what's it look like for us or people, for you to even say to us, hey, can we have this conversation? Because I'm feeling this from you. Or what's it look like for me to say, hey, this is my story and how I've seen the Black community in my life, and I just need to share that. Like, what do these conversations look like? What have you had?
It starts though with relationships. You're not going to go up to a stranger and just say, hey, whatever. Like this lady, we were doing an interview a couple weeks back, and she was so sincere. She's so sweet. And she goes, Linda, I don't really have any issues with Black people of color, or I just love people. She said, but the world is so crazy. It's so big and it's all this. How can I? She said, let me tell you what you can do, baby. I go, first, let's do the self-inventory thing. I go, what's your dinner table look like any day of the week? What's your lunch table, or what's your inner circle look like? Yeah. It's literally, guys, it's a mic drop every single time I say that. I go, so what's that look like? I said, so that's where it starts. Who's coming to your table? Like whether it's a actual physical table or it's just, it's not. Who's coming to your table? Who's in your inner circle that doesn't look like you? Yeah. Are you attending with you? You go to church, you don't go to whatever. Where are you worshiping? I mean, when I go, I get invited to churches from all over, and I look at the staff. And when I see a church of so many thousands of people, and you got a staff of 40, 50 people, and you see maybe barely one person of color, even if it were a Black church, I'd say the same thing. Something's wrong with that picture. Yeah. It starts with relationships. Invite somebody to dinner, invite somebody to lunch who you know of, or you know that, hey, I want to have these conversations. Say, hey, I'm not trying to do this to be offensive or weird, but I want to get on the right side of history. Help me, because I've been struggling, and it's okay to be honest about it. I think that's one place to start. It's just literally dinner having that dinner or lunch conversation, whether it's going to the park, sitting on a park bench, or if it's talking on the phone or Zooming, Skype, whatever, but just being willing to say, look, I need to talk to somebody who just doesn't look like me, because here's what will happen, guys. If we start to do that more, all of the nonsense, and most of it is nonsense and a bunch of hogwash and stuff when you see on television, the media that portrays any of us in a certain light, a lot of that isn't true. If you talk to people and you find out, like, say, for instance, if they show Black folks all the time, they show us that we're running in the stores and we're rioting or we're doing something, whatever, and you think that's who we are. Well, you might believe that because you don't have any friends that look like me.
Yeah.
But what you do is you find those friends who look like me and you go, hey, I want to have some conversations. So before stuff gets to social media, before you start believing all this stuff, then you've heard it from the horse's mouth. No, girl, we don't. No, that's not how. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of stuff all day, every day. I think that is the beginning of the healing process. That right there it's going to start with those conversations. That's for starters.
Yeah. I love the kind of idea that this kind of acknowledgement and beginning of understanding, I think, in race things happens around a table. I think that's huge. And in relationship, and like the stories that you've told so far of like friends sitting down at a table and you're sharing your story. It's kind of what we're doing right now, which is amazing. One other thing that kind of struck me as you were talking, and as you began to describe kind of the Black experience, which is something that like we just can't understand, like when you don't know it and don't see it, even the image that you brought up of those two Band-Aids in different colors, like brought tears to my eyes, because why would I know that there's not a dark skinned Band-Aid? And I saw when that got rolled out, like in the last year, like how crazy is that? But I wondered, and there's a question here. As you talked about your first pet peeve, and about how if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it really well. I'm going to be the best. Like I get this energy from you. Like I'm going to show up every time and you're going to see the best. Yes. And I wonder if some of that comes from that experience of growing up Black, thinking like, if I don't come as my best, these people are going to think X, Y, and Z about me. And I'm gonna prove something to them, by showing up this way. Do you think that's formed you in any way?
I don't really think so. I just like to see people do well. But there are some times I've gotten in white communities where you already know they've formed a stereotype about you. Right. And you feel like, okay, I know I'm going to have to be a certain way to dismantle that stereotype before you can start getting to the hard conversations. So so it's kind of it's kind of something catching me on both ends. No, I'm that way because that's the way I was raised, to do things well and excellent. I had to get the good grades, and like anybody else, your parents just wanted you to excel. It has made me the person that I am and that I'm becoming. And I'm happy about it. But if I were honest, guys, I don't want to cry on your show. But it makes me weep because we've got so much work to do, but it's only going to get better if we do what we're doing right now with 10,000 minutes. We can times this 100,000 times and probably still not get through. I don't want to discourage anybody, but it's a lot to work through, because here's what's happened. Yeah. We've buried stuff so deep. And I tell people this all the time when people say, oh girl, we don't need to talk about the past. The past is the past. I go, but let me ask you this. How many of you when you go to the doctor for your checkup and they ask you about your family history, you go, oh, I don't, but if there's cancer, if there's heart disease, if there's diabetes, don't you want to know that?
Right.
Don't you want to know so you can be better? So you can say, okay, so I know there's a thing with my family with this, so I need to eat. I probably don't need to be eating this. Because, and then if you choose not to do something better based on what you found out about your family, your past, your history, then that's between you and God and your body. But so I'm discouraged that people are trying to get us to not talk about stuff that's happened before. And I'm not talking about belaboring, oh yeah, they just beat them into slaves, just and making people feel bad. I'm not talking about beating anybody else, but you kind of have to have some of these conversations, because I can tell you, if you're hearing this from me, guys, I can fill our space right now with all of my friends of color, and they would all have similar stories, but different stories that affect them every single day. And you go like, wow, how did I miss this Band-Aid thing? How did I not know that? You know why? Because keeping it real, you're in this kind of bubble world where you don't have to do it. There's not too many places that I can go any given day that I'm not either made to know that I'm Black or I'm, but when we go to Walmart and we get hair products, a few years ago, there was only a little tiny shelf that said, I think it said Black hair or ethnic, whatever. I don't even know what it was. But now there's a pretty big section, and which is good. Things are changing. But I want to say, even though you didn't ask this question, but I do want to say this. Somebody asked me, they said, Lynn, do you think things are getting better? And I said, you know what? I think we're starting to move in the right direction. And let me tell you how I know the temperature gauge. Commercials on television years ago, for the most part, of course, for back then it was all white. Every family was white. You didn't see anybody really of a color much at all. Now, then as we started progressing a little bit, then you would see a Black woman, but she would be kind of a lighter complexion.
Yeah, right.
She wasn't really like rich Black or deep Black. So you would see that. And then if you saw a guy on a commercial, maybe he didn't really say much. He wasn't really involved with the Black woman. It's just kind of like somebody in the commercial. Have you guys noticed that I can't say this without even feeling so much emotion. Wow. Like you would think somebody put $2 million in my bank account or $10 million. When I turn on the TV and I see these commercials, and there are Black families sitting at a table together, and the father is interacting like my dad did with us, interacting with his kids. They're teaching them things. They're playing games. They're telling stories. He's married. I mean, it's great, but that was not the image.
Right.
That's been portrayed for so long. And so now I'm like, and then I see these really deep, rich, beautiful, midnight Black women, color, skin glowing. And I'm like, God, thank you. So that's why I say, for me, things are changing. Things are getting better. I love seeing that. We've not seen enough of that. And there may be some people like, I'm tired of turning on TV and they've got these Black families now. And it's like, no. Black lives matter. Yes. White lives. We understand everybody's life matter. We get it. And my daughter put it in perspective one time. She goes, Mom, you know what? This is kind of like, people get upset when you say something like Black lives matter. She's just like, people have a birthday party. And she goes, I've been to birthdays where, okay, people kind of get upset because you're getting celebrated, but today's not their birthday. They got a birthday.
Totally. That is such a great illustration.
But today is not their birthday. So what are you getting upset about? So we all matter. Your birthday matters. Your life, we all matter. But it's time to get us out of the shadows, put us in the light, in the good light that we deserve to be in as human beings. And that's why I get emotional. I told somebody, I said, after George Floyd this time, there was a shift. There truthfully was a shift in the atmosphere. Things started changing. And I'm seeing people wanting to really have conversations, and people want to be in covenant relationships, And I'm loving it. I mean,
how is the church doing in this? Terrible. I mean, you've been in such a white space for so long, and now since George Floyd, you say you're speaking up, and you are, and gosh, thank you. Yes. My God. How are we doing? How can we be better?
And I shouldn't say, I said terrible. I'm like, let me just say church at large.
I'll agree with you.
Yes.
We'll agree in that area.
Room to improve. Yes.
We're still as segregated as we've ever been. And sometimes I think it's getting, I think sometimes the church is getting worse. I think sometimes it is. I mean, we are having some conversations with some people who are wanting to have more people that look like me in their church. And I say, well, look at your staff. Who's on your staff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want to do that, start mirroring that from the pulpit, and maybe it'll leak out, it'll roll out and catch on. But we still, guys, have a lot to do. I don't like to see folks get up in church and whether it's predominantly black or predominantly white, and they're saying their prayers and this, that, the other, and they're not even trying to have communities that they're involved in that don't look like them. And I'm not talking about the white church, and we get this a lot in the black community. There are white churches who want to come and help us on special days in the summer. Is there a house that we can help fix up or do something? And,
right.
And it's the great white hope coming to our a community that has been depraved and deprived, and we just want to be a blessing. And that mentality, I don't like. Well, I think we should work in each other's communities. I think that's a great thing. But how about we come in your community and come in your homes? And we had that happen in one of the white families at church. My husband went to the mom's home to help with something. And that was the first time there had ever been a black person in that mother's home. And she's probably 70 something, saying something's wrong. And the church, we've got to get it together, guys. We're supposed to be leading out on this healing thing. We're supposed to be leading out, but we're still so far behind. And so I'm just trying to get in places now, y'all, where I can get up and I can just tell my story and keep it real. If you never invite me back, I'm sorry. I don't hate you. I love you. I mean, it's not like, the Jesus love. I genuinely, as from one human to the next, I love you. We are brothers and we are sisters. And that's what one of the records in the album, My Feet May Be Tired song, that we're brothers and sisters. We got a lot of work to do. So the church, I don't think we're doing great. We're making little bitty strides, but I think the world light years ahead.
You're totally right. Mm-hmm. Well, that's our view as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing and just waking up every day and saying, okay, Jesus, let's go. Like, what do you have today? Because you really are being used in this way. And I'm not a big fan of used, but he is actually putting you in places and letting you represent him in these places, who was not a white Jesus.
By the way, I like what you just said, represent him.
It's different. Representing is a really different thing than if Adam, the first Adam, was a representer of God, naming things, giving. I mean, it was like this real representation of God, not just like, I'm a representative of God. Yes. I'm a representer of God. So that's what you get to be with black skin on.
Yes.
A representer of God to the white people, to anybody, to your friends,
anybody.
So it's just such a gift to have you in this world, and we're so thankful for you. Thank you for even jumping on and giving us your heart today. Thank you for letting us.
Thank you guys for having me. This has been so great for me. And I honestly, it wasn't you guys all today, but it was one of those. I'm not a person who will not do what I'm supposed to do, like with interviews. But today it's been really some tough days. I was like, I'm not sure I'm really up to this.
Come on. I love it. Good. I'm glad we got that side of you.
And you guys I figured it was going to be next level because the struggle was pretty strong prior to getting on with you guys. So there's some warfare. And I really mean that in the most holy, righteous sense that we're in territory that the enemy hates. And so he's going to fight like he's been.
Well, he's also going to fight these next 3 minutes. Okay. Because it's 10,000 Thoughts with Lynda Randle with a Y and with an E. Okay, girl. So this is like quick town. Okay. You go. There's not much thinking involved in this. Okay. Favorite person growing up?
Oh, I would say my mommy and my daddy, but really, I'm just a daddy's girl, but I love my mom. But really, he was my
guys. That's so politically correct. That was so perfect. Okay, something that's on your bucket list.
You said what's on my bucket list?
Yep.
Oh, it's on I got a dream list, bucket list. Okay, so, but some things I can't share because I don't want people to make it happen. But okay, I'll say this. I want to do movie soundtracks. That's I'll just say that's one of the things that, but there are other things that are like, they're kind of like those private kind of, yeah. So that's one of them.
Okay.
And
we'll leave those as unspoken. We'll just say that's an unspoken.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes.
Okay, fashion regret then.
Fashion regret.
Come
man.
on.
Some of my hairstyles, hairdos. When I look back at something, I say, "Ooh, girl, what was you thinking?" Like, I wish I had a friend that loved me enough to tell me, "Girl, that ain't working." But anyway,
that does not sing. That outfit does not sing. Okay, bad habit.
Bad habit. Ooh. Okay. Overthinking.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strong. Okay, last one. What is if you were going to do karaoke, what's your go-to song?
Oh, my go-to song. Oh, let's see. Karaoke go-to song. Probably Don't Laugh at This, because y'all
No,
laugh.
that's the whole point.
Because it's so cornball. You light up my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you saying that about us?
My life.
Give it. You give me hope.
Yes.
To carry on, right?
Yes, that
and then it goes all the way up.
It's
I'm singing the Barry White version of that. So I was trying to get her key. I'm like,
she's like got this beautiful voice. She's like,
You guys are crazy.
So dumb. Okay, Lynda Randle, thank you for being amazing.
Yes, thank you so much.
So people go check out, and where do they check out stuff that is Lynda Randle with a Y?
But then Apple Music and Amazon Music, iTunes, anything, whatever. So you can Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, whatever outlets.
Well, the last thing we just wanted to tell you is that we've all gotten together. And we have purchased you a motorcycle. So that's coming to your house.
Oh, guys,
you get a motorcycle today.
So much. That was on the bucket list, really.
Oh,
I was riding.
Oh my gosh.
My brother Michael has a Harley. My brother Michael is like, you talking about a daring guy. Just all kinds of, I'm saying that's daring, but yeah, so he has a motorcycle. So if I ever really want to ride, I could, I guess. Yeah. But thank you for the purchase. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's coming to your house.
Get your money back.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much.
Girl, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, people. So that was Lynda Randle. Another great episode.
Amazing conversation.
I wish she was here with us.
Yeah.
She was one of those people that you just want to be with.
Yeah, especially when people are telling you their story.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You want to practice empathy with people. You want to sit and understand and learn from them. And it was an honor for us to hear her really tell us all the pieces of what has been her journey with the church, with music, and her experience here.
If you're out there and this racial conversation has been pushing on you, or you've felt pushback, or you want to push back on it, I think maybe just the invitation here is, how do we just hear people's stories?
Right.
And really listen well and be curious in it, not just jump to our political agenda or what's their political agenda, but really hear stories. There's something so powerful. And just a reminder for me, I just want to listen to people's stories before I quickly go to judge a whole group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the powerful thing about diversifying your table is that we can all bring our experiences in and learn from each other. And that's what she did with us coming on the podcast and sharing her story. It's like, I don't have that experience, and so I can't speak to it. I don't know anything about it. I have not experienced it. But when she can come in and tell her story the way that she did, then it can give me insight to say, oh my gosh, there's a whole part of life that I had no idea about.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the invitation, I think, as you listen to this. It's like, here's an experience of something that maybe you didn't even know existed. Yeah. And so what do we do with that, and how can we continue to diversify our table and invite more people to the table so we can kind of expand what we know and the experiences for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's actually the practice for this week, is diversifying your table. So what does that look like? And we literally mean table as in like just your conversations or just your dinner table.
Right.
There was a season when we left our church community in California, and for about 3 years we just decided we're not going to go to church and do church. We're going to just be it with people. And you do it don't take that conversation in another way. I guess we can have that conversation another time. But like, what's it look like to really be the church, and who's at your table, and really being intentional with, like, they're not just all people that believe the same thing I believe.
Right.
I can learn from anybody, and I can love anybody, whatever their story is. So that would be an encouragement and a practice for this week, is set the table to have important and intentional conversations. So whoever you're at a table with this week, maybe just be a little bit more intentional with that conversation.
Yeah. Be present, lean into what people bring to the table. I think another beautiful part about this practice is that I experienced God in a very specific way in my life through my experience. And when we diversify our communities, we start to see a bigger, more complete view of God's character and the ways he shows up for other people. And so be curious about seeing God in someone's story, not just making space for them, but truly saying, if God is always with me, he is also always with this person. So how am I going to see God in their story today?
Gosh, even in people that we are with all the time, like, this doesn't have to be
for sure.
That's a challenge to me, just thinking about the people that are already in my life, that I'm already at the table with all the time, and I could be more curious with them.
Yeah.
So whatever you took out of that, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to learn from you and learn with you in that. So please let us know. Go to any of our socials. Would you like hug, subscribe,
comment below?
Yes. Also, I want to thank Lisa P. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
I know who you are. Thank you. Some of these times, sometimes I don't know who these people are, but Lisa P., thank you for supporting us. You can go to 10,000minutes.com, and in the upper thing it says donate a partner or something like that.
And we'll have the links below in the description.
Also, Ryan C.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan C.
Not related to Ryan.
You're not. Right.
No, not this time.
Not that I know.
Last time he had Jen C. and he was Jennifer C. But no, you're not related. I know this Ryan C. And Alexa K.
Thanks, Alexa.
K and C sound alike, but they're not the same thing.
Okay.
So that's just English 101, 202, 509.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for being a part of this. We love doing this, and we're actually supported by you. So thank you. Okay. See you next week.
Time.